It's 5 o'clock and we'd like to call the Budget Committee to order. Do we have any visitors that would like to address the committee? Seeing none, in old business, we have none. In new business, item 4A, Solid Waste Sanitation Fund, that's 116 Garbage Fund, and you'll find that behind your tab 54. Barry Poole?
Highlight, I guess, about the only thing that's changed would be a request for a brush truck at the end there. I think that, I don't know what kind of raises, what the percentage of raise has been put in everybody's budget. What is that? Okay, so that's not in the mix right now, but that's really the highlight of the budget. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much the same. Be glad to take any questions that you would have. I know there's been some discussion about trying to do something about the make it faster on the brush and junk collection. Do you want to talk about that, or we?
Barry, how many brush trucks do you have at the moment? I can't remember.
We have everybody there. We're fully staffed. We can run 6 trucks. But most of the time, it's somewhere around the average of 4 trucks, wouldn't you say, George? 4 or 5? Normally, you're dealing with an absence or 2. So one of those drivers will have to come make up for the driver of a garbage truck or something sometimes. But
So if you got another brush truck, that'd make you 7?
that'd make 7. And if we could, obviously would need a person.
Yeah.
It's going to take a year to get a truck, so we didn't even plan for a person yet.
Right.
So, but I mean, we work one side of the county as fast as we can, and then we go to the other side. We finish, say if we start on the east, we do the west. We start right back over on Monday's route on the east, just doing it as fast as we can, so.
What time does that truck leave in the morning? Is that 7 o'clock?
Yes, 7:15, time they get it warmed up and check all the tires and the oil and that type of thing. One issue for us is this: the landfill don't stay open, but until 3:45, they want us to have the last load there by 3:45, and then of course they're trying to get things cleaned up and right for the night, I guess. But we need more hours that the landfill would be open. And I know it's a solid waste board issue, but, with the city and the county both hauling there, we could put in some overtime if we had some hours whereby they were open.
Is it, what's your work time close at?
Our work time closes at 4:30.
4:30, okay, and they close at 3:45.
Yes.
I mean, I'm certain you all thought of this. Make your last drop-off as close to that as you can, and then you have, first thing you do in the morning, maybe drop off a load. I don't know. Is that?
If we go out there and we put our last load in there at 3 o'clock and we go out and get another full load, we got to wait till the next morning, obviously, to dump it.
Right.
So if they got you either way.
Either way.
You either got to
I
wait
got
in the morning or you got to try to
Okay.
get there in the afternoon.
Because their morning doesn't open until, y'all open before they do.
We
there
do.
too. I got you.
Leave there at 8 o'clock.
And this may not be the conversation for today, but it's something that we should address again. We opened this up a few years ago, not to do away with any, I'm not even advocating such things that we do away, but like, the egregious people misusing the service.
Right, yes.
And I don't know how we do that, but I just feel like that is something we need to look at. In no way, shape, or form am I advocating we do away with debris pickup. No, sir.
Yes,
But those that abuse the system,
I totally agree. We don't want to take this service away from anybody. We really don't want to change the way we're doing it. We want to keep doing it as hard as we can do it every day. But there are abuses in the system. There are people that just, they cause us, extra work. And they're probably operating businesses doing it. And we do need some policies. And we need some policies with some teeth. And at some point, we need to do that. And we need to do it cautiously. I totally agree.
right? I don't want ever to, I mean, it's the most tangible service we have, garbage pickup, debris pickup. People
Yes.
see that, it's the most tangible service we have as a county out, everybody uses it.
Yes,
But I do think it's something that needs to be addressed.
yes.
Okay, that's it.
Barry, how late does the other landfill stay open?
I don't know. Do you know, George? That one out of Dinka? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I can find out, obviously.
What time do they show up in the morning at the landfill, start working?
I think they start at 7:30, George.
Really?
The Mack truck, did you order a Mack this time also?
We're still waiting on those two garbage trucks, and they're both Mack, yes.
And the knuckle boom truck?
And Knuckle Boom truck is in the budget. It's being proposed. We haven't ordered it. We haven't even bid it, so we're just asking.
But are you wanting another Mack?
Well, that or Kenworth. Kenworth, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Randy?
There's one thing I still don't understand, though, and I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead and finish if you have.
I'm sorry.
Are you finished?
No, I was going to ask him the price difference in the last knuckle boom truck to this one here. It's in the budget. What was the price difference on that?
I think we got the last one for 160 or so. We're planning on more than 200 now. And you know, it won't be something you guys have to deal with, but the people that manufacture the trucks, from Max to Kenworth to Peterbilt to International to whatever the brand name is, they're talking about, what are those charges they're talking about, George? Surcharges. And we're going to have to deal with it. And if you say, well, I'm not doing nothing paying the bid price, you can have them surcharges, they'll say, fine, we got somebody else that wants to buy this truck right now. And we stand in need of a new truck real bad.
Yeah.
But we're going to have surcharges to pay for this is over with. And they're telling us it's going to be manufactured in October. But this truck making manufacturing business is crazy.
Are you saying that for the two that we're waiting on, that they want us charge us surcharges on those?
Yes. And they don't know what the amount's going to be yet.
And that salesman stood here and guaranteed that we would have those trucks by a certain time.
Well, the people that are manufacturing are telling him, sir, if you don't want the trucks, we'll sell them to somebody else. They don't care right now, Commissioner Shipley. They don't care.
Barry, that was a premium, $44,000 to get those Macs, wasn't it?
Say that again now.
That was a premium to get that Mac for $44,000 more. I think that's what we voted on.
I don't remember what the price is.
Remember how much we paid more?
I think we did.
I think it's $44,000 more to get that truck. On these brush trucks, Barry, I talked to you downstairs. It doesn't matter if you've got 7 trucks or 8 trucks. If you don't have the people to run it, you can't operate them.
That's true.
It's like right now, you've got 6, you're running 4. You need 2 more people to run it. I think we better get us some people out there to work and get them trucks on the road, what we've got. That's the problem. It ain't the trucks. We got the trucks. We just gotta have somebody to drive them.
What's the solution to that?
Well, it's just
go
like
out there and
everything
drive
else. You can go to Walmart, I mean, over to, Pigeon Forge and go to McDonald's for $22 an hour. That's where you go, and it's, what it is the price. We've had a lot of people in the sheriff's department left and went to other companies. We had one left the sheriff's department as a patrolman, went to work with picking up dogs. More money.
Yeah,
It's gonna go, everybody's gonna go where more money's at.
yeah.
Anybody's gonna do it. I think we need to take a look at this thing. Because like I say, it doesn't make any difference. You got 6, 8, 10 trucks, you ain't got enough to run 4 of them, you're sitting there.
Well, you guys really took a step forward when you did that with their pay this during this past budget year. It may take more than that, but I mean, you certainly tried to say to them, you're important to us, and we are keeping those employees because you've done that. We're just not getting new ones. But
I think that's a valid point, though. It doesn't matter how many trucks you have. If you don't have anybody to drive them, then why invest in another one?
well, it's either let the service be what it is now or get worse, or try to improve it. I mean, those are always the options. And if you want drivers, evidently we're gonna have to pay for them.
Yeah, Barry, have you
Because-
guys ever looked into floaters just to have to bounce from the different job areas to cover when these people are out?
Well, that's what the brush truck drivers and the garbage truck drivers, that's what they do.
Yeah, but I mean,
There's several drivers that ride the back of the truck sometime. I mean, they do what is a lesser job than, we want them to cross-train all that they can. We want every rider on the back to be able to drive if he needs to. But some of them won't go and get the training involved, get this commercial driver's license.
what I was talking about is having a couple of extra staff. That way you don't have a truck shut down because you don't have somebody to drive it that day.
Yeah.
And-
Well, we've got an extra rider, an extra garbage truck driver, and an extra brush truck driver. So if you want to add a couple to the staff,
So you've already got 3 spares and you have enough out on a regular basis? Wow.
yeah. Well, I can tell you, I think it's, George, do you think it's worse, our fleet is worse, we're having to repair more with garbage trucks or with the brush trucks, or is it an equal situation?
We've got, it's pretty much equal. We've got, brush truck, we got 2001 model year. It's the 7th truck. We use it if we have to because it's an old truck. Then we got we got about 3 2008s and a couple 2009 brush trucks. Them was the ones that we had all this problem with that we was trying to get away from because they had a depth system that they kept shutting down. Right now, we have 2 trucks been sitting for 3 months because you can't get parts for them, they're just sitting there. So I've got 5 men that will run them brush trucks if I've got them running. But the problem is, we don't have all the trucks, the parts to fix the trucks, and, if I've got the guys that run them, their trucks are still sitting because we ain't got the way to run them because the trucks ain't fixed. And then you've got vacation and sick I gotta cover. Everybody's got vacation, so then you have, people out, and I've gotta pull from, the riding staff, depending on who is out, to cover for them, so that leaves me short-handed. More people would help keep everything going, but you're still gonna have issues with trucks. Even though we got 7 trucks sitting on the hill, they ain't gonna all run at the same time, I promise you, because they're old trucks. And, it's just what it was. I mean, we all remember the issues with the depth system. They ain't gonna run. I mean, they're gonna tire up from 1 week to the next. We've got 1 truck that's still under warranty. It's got about a year on it. It's gonna be out of warranty. Now, this is brush. So we're gonna start getting more into you all's pocket about fixing them because we don't have warranty. So if they was swapped out on a regular basis, the warranty would take care of a lot of expense. You pay up front or you pay after. I mean, one of those, that's what you're going to do.
Out of the 7 trucks, how many of them doesn't work? How many of them's not operating right now?
Right now, we got 2, it's set,
2 at 7s.
because we don't have the parts to fix them.
So you've got 5 trucks in
Yeah.
there. If they're not working, you might as well not have them, so. You've got 5
I
trucks.
run
in there.
5 trucks today, but I had everybody there today. Nobody was on vacation sick, so I run in 5 brush trucks because I didn't have to pull nobody, put them on the rest.
What's the people that get you your parts got saying about this?
They said, well, you get them, you get them. They ain't no guarantee on
Are
that.
they expediting them, trying to get you some more
Yeah,
parts?
everything's on back order.
Yeah, but I mean, they expediting the back orders?
I mean, they don't have.
They can't expedite it if they don't have it,
because
yeah.
they ain't made or whatever.
You know, you can expedite all you want, but it's
Maybe
not
you're
there.
out on a ship, maybe, the places don't have the people to make it, they'll pay them, so they're on back order. You don't know.
All right, how much money do you think we're losing to tree trimmers and people bringing stuff in and dumping in the county? How much percentage you think of that on those trucks? 30%?
Out of the total amount of brush we pick up in a year, I would think 10%, but I may not have a, what would you think, George?
Too close, yeah, 10, 15%.
What do you think, y'all?
I bet it's more than that.
You gotta catch them. I mean, a neighbor can't tell you they were there because they can say, well, that's, you know, we're not gonna go out there because we got nothing to stand on. Now, if we see them doing it, we caught you. We're not picking it up. You need to work it out with the owner of the property, but if we don't catch them, we can't deal with them.
Well, I know there's spots that, when you come around the curve on the road, you know there's something there. Usually it's a big mess every time. And it makes you wonder, where did all this come from?
Yeah.
Every time.
Yes.
And we see that a lot.
Yeah, we do too. And that's one of the things that Chris was talking about.
It might be that, again, this is a day for another day conversation, but some type of monitoring system, when we have certain spots that are always getting filled up or something. I don't know. We got to figure out something.
Yeah.
Save our county a little money here and there. And
Well, there are certain spots in the county where individuals will let anybody dump
right
on that spot.
there again, some type of monitoring. If our,
They can come by and pick up the trash. The next day, there's trash right back at that very same spot.
It's a problem. It's a big problem.
Community spot, isn't it? Well, y'all you had the final say so, but we proposed, we felt like it was a conservative request. We proposed another brush truck. But, you guys, final say.
Hey, George, tell us again the years of the trucks that you have.
Come here, George. So I can hear you better.
We have a 2001, we got,
Would that be rotating off if you got a new one? Is that what you do with that one, or?
yes, this truck don't have the EPA stuff on it. It's an old truck. So the truck will run, but the truck is kind of like pieced together, if you like, because it's been used and used. And if you fixed it where you could run it every day, you're gonna have as much in it as what it costs to new. So that truck is just a go-to truck that we ain't got nothing else to go to. So we've got it, and we've got about 3 2008s. 2009, we got like a 16 or 17, and we've got 18, I think a 19, something like that. I might not be exact on that, but the last one is, we've got about a year and a half warranty left on it. It's gonna be out of warranty. The rest of them's out of warranty. So we have been putting the bill on everything after that last one, as far as expenses.
That's probably 17, we hit the 5-year warranty.
Yeah, we did.
Probably, this was probably 17.
So how long do we normally expect these trucks to last, like a longevity? Do you have any idea?
When you run them 5 years, and I think Jim would probably vouch for this, with what we do, you're gonna have some wear and tear on it in 5 years. I mean,
Over-the-road trucks, and they offer that emission system operated like they designed it to do, and it's basically designed for an over-the-road truck. But this stop and start hard on these emission systems.
Right. So we're looking at a 13-year-old truck and a 14-year-old truck, 3 14-year-old trucks. That's what you're saying, 3 2008,
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
1 2009, and the 2001 is just for reserve.
Provide you with an inventory.
I mean, that's close enough. It just gives us an idea that, or it gives me an idea.
It seems like we've been replacing these DEF trucks for the full 2 terms that I've been here. How are they still there? And have we bought other trucks to replace those, or is that more on the garbage side?
We got 3 newer model trucks, right? The rest of them are the 08s, 09s,
Yeah.
and then it's 2001. In terms of the brush pit. And now the garbage trucks, we'd have to get the inventory, tell you exactly what we got. Hey, that's what, it does seem like. I mean, it seems like it for us. You blink your eyes, and this truck's giving you a lot of problems. You spend a lot of money on it. And it's gonna be either way. You spend on it to repair, or you can spend on it up front, get your 5 years of warranty, and basically have 5 years of service for free. I mean, sort of, maintenance and repair free. After that, I mean, with our application of stop and start, they're just gonna wear out quicker than a truck that's running 400 miles before it stops every day. And what's the alternative? You can't quit buying them. I mean, they're not gonna quit putting garbage out there, and they're not gonna quit putting this place of junk, so.
But doesn't it still seem funny that we can have a bid process? We bid for these trucks, and now they're telling us they're gonna add a surcharge to it? I'm not sure how that works.
It makes you mad, I know it does.
Yeah.
So we're in a position where we are beggars. And the dealers are they're the same way. He told us, he said, y'all are pulling more problem with this. And he said, I can't help it.
How much is one of these trucks costing?
Right now. The garbage truck now, they up there, $220,000. Now, our bid's for, I think it's, 190.
And the mayor's not here, so I'll put you on the spot. How do you propose that this garbage truck be paid for the brush truck? Out of the surplus funds?
That's how we have it budgeted now.
Okay, that's what I thought.
$3 million fund balance right now, right?
Yes, and we're projecting a little less to use some of that fund balance for things like the brush truck and the purchase of land to expand the land.
350,000 to help with that land expansion.
The way I see it, guys, this is something that's going to come to us one way or the other. We can do it this year, we can do it another year. But with the vehicle expenses coming as they are, somebody tell me something different.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, these 08s, they've already told us, even when they can find a dealership, most of the time they don't have parts for it or don't have anybody trained. The software, and everybody knows the issues they're having with software and chips now. I mean, it's everywhere. I see it with Molly on a regular basis, that we get hit. We have to stop production because they don't have any way of utilizing it because they can't get the other parts to fix. we're gonna have to step up and buy them.
And we could put this truck in the budget, that doesn't guarantee we're gonna get it for a long time.
That'd be a while.
But, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the purchase of the brush truck.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
What about the rest of the budget here? Do we need a motion on that?
I think that we should do that separate, wouldn't we? Do we have a motion to approve the budget for the Solid Waste Sanitation Fund 116? We've got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Okay, so what's this truck gonna cost us?
We don't know.
We don't know what it's gonna cost us. Buying a pig in a poke.
We'll just bid it.
You don't know what it's gonna cost us.
We can put it in budget over there.
We're authorized to.
I don't think you can prolong the situation no longer. If you can get one, you better get one, get in line.
I mean, even if we bid it and get a bid, we're not guaranteed to get it for that price. Unless we wanna wait for decades down the road. And I don't like that, but you see it everywhere.
How do you, is there something I'm not understanding about that? I mean, if you have a bid and you accept they accept the price for the bid, how can you turn around and change that?
Well, I mean, I can totally identify, but the dealer's there too. He's saying, I know I told you I could sell you this truck, and I can, but the manufacturer's telling me that we're gonna get surcharges, and the dealer's not gonna pay those surcharges and sell us a truck. If they have to pay $12,000 worth of surcharges, that's money that they're going in the hole.
Ms. Bryant, when that comes about, do we not have a say-so in that process, though? I mean, I thought the purpose of a bid was to determine how much you were gonna pay for something.
Considered a legal contract,
That's what I thought.
but as we know, people can renege even on legal contracts.
And we have the right to not do it. Of course, that's not maybe a prudent decision in this particular set of circumstances. But,
You know, we've been I think on most of these trucks, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, we've been able to use the state contract.
Yes.
So we may have to look to the state to see if there's any recourse to pay, I mean, we can't be the only ones in this position.
correct.
To see if there's anything going on with our administrator contracts.
Well, the dealer's been talking that he's having to go to every county that he has set up to sell a truck to. He's having to give them this news. Now, we can talk to somebody with the state, obviously, to see if there's any recourse, but I can tell you the dealers, he's having to talk to everybody he's got a truck sold to.
Any further discussion?
So why don't we get with, the state contractors and see what we can do on that?
So would that be another motion then?
I didn't hear what he said.
He said, then why wouldn't we get with the state contractors and determine what is available through that?
And I'll make a motion that we get with them, that we get legal involved.
But we've got a motion on the floor.
You know,
You have to make an amendment to the
So we
motion.
need to take care of that motion, then you can
We'll take care of that motion first.
bring that motion up.
Do we have an open motion?
so we're going back to the brush truck and we're determining, or are we going to the fund to determine that?
We're on the fund now.
So, okay. So we have a motion and we have a second. Any additional discussion?
Amendment to the
It-
motion.
Does some, right now we have to vote the motion, correct? So we're going to vote the motion and then come back based on that. So all in favor of the approval of the fund, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right.
So you're not gonna make an amendment to the motion to fit the control, or
You would have a new motion
Now
now.
we
And
got
have
a
a
new
new
motion. Make a motion that we get with the state.
you gotta vote on your amendment.
It's not an amendment.
We didn't
It's a
vote
se-
on the
It's not an amendment, it is a
We didn't do an
separate
amendment.
motion. It's a separate motion completely.
You've got a motion on the floor, you got a second.
We've
on it.
already-
You gotta
we've
have an
already
amendment
voted for
to
that.
motion before you can vote on it.
We didn't do an amendment.
You just do an
Nope,
amendment?
nope, we're doing a motion.
Yep. We voted that motion, so now.
I'll second. That motion to have the state legal look into the fact of these bids, to request that they do it for us. Ms. Hurst, can you check on that and see if we need to get the county attorney involved, or if we can just contact the comptrollers?
And working with, of course, Mary, we'll try to get in contact and see what they're hearing at the state level about this. We'll see what we can see if we can find out any information that's in.
Thank you very much. And if we could find that out, it'd be great. Pass that along to us. Well, we can expedite this if we can, if we need to step up with legal.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion on taking this to legal? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Number 4B, Highway Public Works, 131. Mr. Poole?
Okay.
It is 56.
56. Thank you.
Tab 56.
Some of the highlights of this budget include, we set more money up for striping. We put $20,000 more in that we normally budget $55,000. We put $20,000 more in for striping. I know that diesel and stuff was, we had to increase the budget to respond to the current situation, prices, and in terms of equipment and vehicles, we have, let's see, we've got, 160 for a vehicle and 40 for equipment? 'Cause I don't know if I wrote down the last number. Is that right, Ann?
I'm through the way myself, but what that's.
That includes a 2006 Chevrolet 5500 dump truck that everybody that drives it's telling me it's unsafe at this point. It's plowed a lot of snow. It's hauled a lot of dirt, hauled a lot of equipment around. It just needs to be replaced. That truck does, and it's not a full-size dump truck. It's a 5500 size. And then the equipment is a concrete saw that attaches to our skid steer. That'll help us with sawing the roads in order to, complete the repair on roads.
What's that cost, Barry?
Well, right now it costs about $23,000, $27,000. We put 40 in there to cover any increases that might happen.
Hydraulic fees, skid steer.
Yes, yes. And then, my two patching crews, the guys that work the asphalt, they are 5-member crews. They've come to me more than once and said, we in a near accident situation today. Can you get us an extra person? We need another flagger. So, in terms of on my behalf, I would like to respond to adding a person to those crews to see if I can't make their situation safer. I mean, I feel like it's my responsibility. I feel like I would be at liable if I didn't respond that way. So, we added a person to each asphalt crew. So we added 2 people in the laborers crew. And Those are the changes we made to this year's budget, this 22-23 budget.
Barry, how does that translate on the equipment? Of course, how does it equate as to how much more road we get per year? Is there any correlation?
Well, we try to keep a crew, one asphalt crew, on a road that we're preparing for resurfacing. So we have our crew working on that road, and when we've been contracting some work out to Brown Brothers. So right now, we've got work going on one road with our folks. We got work going on another road with contracted services. So, you know, they're getting them ready as fast as they can. Now, contracted services cost us about $179,000 per mile. Our folks can do it for about $100,000 a mile. But we can't do it fast enough. So we're contracted some work out. But we can't spend all our money on contracted services and not have any left for asphalt. So there's a limit to how much we contract. This report that y'all have, I put on everybody's desk, and I didn't put one on the chair. That shows what's been done over the past 5 or 6 years.
Barry, is this one paving crew or two?
This is, we contract all our paving out, all our resurfacing. Used to be Renfro, it's APAC Harrison now, has gotten the contract every year for as long as I can remember. They've provided the best prices. But the paving is done by a contractor, because we don't have a paver and that equipment pertinent to paving, putting new asphalt down, other than the patches and repairs that we make.
How can you get more roads paved?
You got to spend more money on contractors helping you get them ready. I'd like for you to ride up to Stagecoach Road at some point. We got repairs and going on, trying to get it ready for paving. Right out to Spout Springs. We've widened Spout Springs from 16, 17 feet to 22 to 24 feet. You know, there's been a population explosion in that area out there. But Stagecoach Road is a prime example of we've let it go, and we've let it go, and we've let it go. And now it's costing us big money to get it ready for paving. If we don't do something to get it ready, if we just go out there and we put new asphalt on it, in 2 or 3 years, you won't be able to tell we've done much because of all the weakness in the road, all the places that need to be repaired. So that's just where and you know, up on the east end, Stagecoach, Wetzel, oh gosh, I can just, you know, just start it right on with the list. And of course, the west, north and south have them too, but guys, we're behind the 8 ball. Some of these roads going to turn to gravel before we get them fixed. And so,
This doesn't have anything to do with your patch crew, though, does it?
no.
How many miles you think you do a year?
We have been doing, in the past 6 years, we've done 38 miles, so that's a little more than 6 miles a year.
6 miles a year.
Okay.
How many miles we got?
We got 406 miles. So if you said today, you said, guys, we're going to pave all the Hamilton County roads in 20 years, you'd have to do 20 miles a year, obviously, or a little bit more. Okay, let's say the average to get it ready is 140. 2 inches of asphalt, that's about the minimum, is 152,000. So that's almost $300,000 a mile. Well, multiply $300,000 a mile times 20, and you get $6 million, right? Is that about right? So if you wanted to pave this county in 20 years, today's prices, if you started now, it'd be $6 million a year. What do you get for 1 cent of a tax increase, or 1 cent? $115,000 a year.
I like that.
I mean, if we don't do something, we'll have gravel roads to travel on. Or they'll be so bad you don't want to travel on, a lot of them. And what we try to do is we rotate that. We go to Area 1, Area 2, Area 3, and Area 4. Do something in those areas once a year at least. If we get one road in each of those areas every year, and if not one more, but we try to spread it out and try to do work that's, it's spread out over the whole county. Now, we get accused of working on one end to the other a lot, but it's not true. This is what we do. There's a true rotation going on. So,
Barry, do you see that your crew you've got out there patching? I saw some roads they've done, like Pine Brook. It's as smooth as it can be. I think that's making your whole road base lasts longer.
well, that's because we've got that equipment that you guys approved of. We've got a skid steer, and we've got a milling attachment, and we've got a broom, and we can mill out the bad asphalt, put new asphalt down, smooth it up. Now, if it's a weak or a failed area, we got to dig it up, get all the weak out of there, and put stone and asphalt back in its place. But we are doing better patching, but now it takes some time. And you can't just run out there with a shovel full of asphalt and throw it in the hole and keep going. It takes some time, but we are doing a better job patching. And I appreciate you saying I've gotten a lot of compliments
Seen
about it.
several roads like
I ain't got a compliment from Gwen, and that's hard to do.
He's one of those negative people.
So this equipment is that you help us get approved of getting. I appreciate it. It's making a big difference.
Yeah, we appreciate the opposite end of that too. So it sounds rough, but we appreciate getting roads done. That's what people want to see.
These two new employees, the flaggers, what are they gonna be doing when they don't flag?
Well, there's guardrail to be weed eated around, or we need to kill the stuff around guardrail and signs, and we can find something. I mean, we don't have to find it. It's out there. So.
I know we're all over the place, Barry, but you said approximately 300,000 per mile for preparation and 2 inches of asphalt.
At today's price.
Does each mile have to be prepared?
The roads that we're doing, Commissioner Cutshall, they're just awful. I mean, there's nothing out there that's pavement ready. I mean, it's just, and there are those that think, well, just go out there and make it black so we all look good. But I can't do that. I can't lay my head on the pillow at night doing it that way.
Okay, on that line, so I got you. We got to prepare. Then, is there a thing for longevity like seal coating?
It needs to be done within 5 years. If we pave something within 5 years, we need to seal coat it.
What does that add when you seal coat, like you did Three Springs, I think, just last year, a mile on Three Springs or something like that? What would that add if you seal coated that? And what kind of cost are you looking at for that? Does that add longevity?
I think it would. But as many problems as we've got, as much money as we're having to spend, I just haven't felt like it's an option at this point.
Got you. Okay.
But it would. It would extend the life of the pavement.
Yeah. And I'd like to commend exactly what Mr. Neesmith's pointing out on Pine Brook. I've seen some of your guys' works with the new equipment, and it is a lot smoother and it's a lot better. It's like you're getting better at your craft.
Yes.
And you can definitely see a difference when you guys have done something recently.
We can't get to them fast enough. That's a problem, but
You think
I've heard that ever since 1996.
You think the hot boxes are helping basically keep the asphalt in the condition it needs to be to go down?
I do.
Are they holding up good, or?
Yeah. We haven't had any repairs, any significant repairs yet, so.
Turn around and get George.
I got a question. Hypothetically, if money wasn't an issue, how many miles could you do a year?
Well, I mean, what I'd do is hire another contractor. Given the staff I've got now, I'd hire another contractor or two if money was not an issue. And we get it going then. A lot more than we are now.
I think we need mileage. Need more miles.
Yeah.
More miles gonna cost more money. The survey that came out, that was the number one priority, was roads. Other than school, was roads.
Yeah.
Roads.
Now, 20% of our
Need to
system,
address that.
20% of our road system can be state aid. If it's connected to a state aid or it's connected to a state aid or state route on both ends. So we've got 20% of our 400 miles are state aid roads. Now, if you pave a state aid road, they pay 98% of the bill. State does. So we want to do all the state aid work we can, and we are. We utilize now. We got $380,000 in our fund balance with state aid. So, but Stagecoach and McBride are going to take that.
What about Warrensburg? Is it not state aid as well?
It is, yes. And we, what we've done on Warrensburg,
Part of it.
yeah.
Is there a limit to the state aid amount each year, or?
We get about $180,000 a year for state aid work.
Warrensburg, not want to emphasize, Warrensburg only goes to the state, to the county line.
113, right. I got you.
Warrensburg doesn't, where it connects up to Silver City is where it stops being a state aid. And y'all, I'm sure you do, because you get a lot of complaints about that.
Yeah.
It's 0.6 of a mile of road from Hawkins County, or is it Greene County? Greene County to the railroad tracks. It's the worst road in Hannibal County. And to fix it, there's no sense in trying to put asphalt down on it, or there's no sense in trying to mill anything up. The whole thing needs to be milled up. Just remove all the asphalt, start over again, and put new asphalt down on stone that's prepared for asphalt. And to do that, to go up there and remove all that asphalt, because it is awful. It is going to be so costly. But all you've got is 3 or 4 houses on that stretch of road, and you've got the Greene County traffic. So I'm sorry, but it's a low priority compared to Kidwell's Ridge or Three Springs or any of the busy roads. I mean, at some point you got to make some decisions. And they're not ever, if you do somebody's roads, everybody else is mad. So you never have a good decision. So in terms of that. Now, all these other 3 pages are self-explanatory, but they'll give you some history, some fund balances, and how things have been spent. The Improve Act, there's a lot of people say the Improve Act should have solved all your problems. Well, Improve Act in 1718 gave us $357,000 more. In 1819, it was about $481. In 1920, it was about $616,000 more. At rising prices like they have been, just don't keep up with it. The Improve Act, it wasn't a problem solver. It helped a little bit, but it didn't solve all our problems.
Do we have a motion to approve Highway Public Works 131?
So move.
Do we
Got 'em.
need,
Separate flaggers.
I guess the question I have, since he's wanting positions, if we might ought to delay our decision until later when we are able to see what type of tax rate some of this is going to cost us. And I think this is one of those that, and then he's got here $2.50 an hour increase. Is that for all of your employees in this department?
That's already happened.
Yeah.
We did that.
But you've got it here for funded for the full year.
Pardon?
You got it here on this, overview sheet.
Is that the way it was meant, Ann?
That last year, we didn't implement that, so it was under the year. I think what the mayor was trying to draw attention to was that this budget that you have in front of you now has the $2.50 for a full sales tax.
For the rest of this year. Okay.
That gonna get it done, Barry? The $2.50 we give everybody last year, is that gonna, I don't think that's bringing any new employees in, is it?
We're fully staffed right now, but who knows? I mean, I just don't have a crystal ball on that.
But if we come up with a plan that the mayor obviously is working on, there could be a salary increase for these employees. Am I correct?
There's nothing included, no increase over last year, included at this point in any of the three main budgets, highway, sanitation, and the general fund.
Okay. That's just a suggestion I offer you, you know, because every year when we do our budget, sometimes we delay approval of one because of the, I'd rather see the total picture.
Say that again, please.
I'd rather see the total picture
So,
with the other departments too,
yes, okay,
because we may have to start cutting.
yeah. Okay, so we have a motion to hold or move on to the next.
If you want a motion, I move that we delay the approval of this budget until later.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
So the purpose is just to wait to the end of the game and see
Get
that,
the total
see where
picture.
everything's at.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of waiting? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, motion carries. Okay, on 4C, Highway Capital Projects, Fund 176, Barry? It's 58, guys.
Yeah, very close to that, I'll
I think it's somewhere around 380,000 still left in there to be used for paving if you guys want to leave it in there for that purpose. We could sure use it. 398, I'm sorry.
And that money's currently there by the budget for paving. I'll make the motion, we leave that.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
But that 398,000, Barry,
Yeah.
so you look at that in 2021, 2022.
Okay. Item 4D, General Debt Service, 151, Ms. Bryant Hurst. This is going to be tab 57.
Now, along with the debt presentation, normally we have our annual debt service report done in April. But since we were in the process of securing additional, bonds, and that didn't close until May the 13th. So we're just going to have a few slides talking about the general debt service report. Let's see. Right now, as of the end of this fiscal year, we're going to have $129,362,724 in bonded and unbonded debt. Now, this is just the principal part. And I gave everyone here tonight an annual debt service report, which we will post online. But in that report, there's going to be detail as to the interest and to every individual issue that we have, and shows the full amortization of all the debt that we currently have in the county.
Their debt, right?
I'm sorry.
Their debt,
Yes, it is.
129 million.
Yes, that's the principal on the debt. And in your book, you'll see both interest and principal payments outlined. This shows our current ratings. They held steady when we went through the rating process for the last bonds that were issued. And these are considered really good ratings for a government our size. To improve, you'd have to get to solid AAA debt, and that's usually for the really big cities and organizations. This shows the blue is the debt related to the general government, and the red is the debt related to the school system. So it's around a 30-70 split. And this is after this last bond issue. Now, this is a graph that's really going to change next year. But every year we look back at the 2021 audits for us and our surrounding counties. This was put together, I should say, these numbers were generated before we borrowed this last round of bonds. So at the present time, or I should say at the 2021, Hamlin County was down in the lower end of debt per capita. When we look at this again next year, we would expect to see Hamlin County jump probably ahead of Jefferson County. And this is not to deceive, this is just we compare given audited numbers, and then next year we'll do the same thing, but I would expect, a significant change. And those are just the highlights. Again, you've got all kinds of detail in the report that was handed out on any particular bond or loan, if you want to see those, detail for that. Now I wanted to move ahead to our debt service budget. In it, I budgeted and worked with the mayor in about keeping our revenue in that fund about level. About the significant difference, last year we borrowed $300,000 was borrowed by the general capital projects fund from this fund and paid back. So you have transfers going in and out. Y'all approved borrowing that money. It's just a cash flow aid back last fall, and we've already paid it back. So that's just kind of a wash. So we're budgeting about the same amount of money as we budgeted last year for revenue. All the expenditures are based directly on the amortization schedules. So this is awfully close except for a little rounding. So if we get to, so again, we're in tab 57, and I'm looking at estimated expenditures, principal on debt. And the way we have to do it for these purposes, we show it whether it's general fund debt, debt for highways. We've got one payment left on that 214 bond issue. Come next year, about this time, that'll be gone. Then we've got the principal for the education piece, and it's in there. And again, it's all based on the amortization schedules where we directly make the payments. And interest the same way. This is the first year when we are actually reducing our fund balance, but that's because these payments are kicking in. Also, in your annual report, you'll see it's about a 30-year, it's toward maybe the last thing in that packet, but there's a 30-year projection on revenues, which we're holding flat, and the actual payments that we expect to make over the next 30 years. For a few years now, we'll see fund balance decrease, and then toward the end of that, it'll start increasing again. Now, if you have any questions,
How many years did you say, if projecting flat revenue?
I project, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna use, I projected out 30 years. Of all of our debt, we should have all of it paid off, I believe, by 2052.
Okay, but in that you said our fund balance would decrease over the next
Right now, it will decrease, and then it will start to increase.
how many years did we project that to decrease, did you say?
I'm
How many years does that decrease before we go back the other way?
If you'll, I think it's about less than 10. Less than 10. But let me see if I can tell you for sure.
Well, it's all right. I just, it's at the front, isn't it?
Again, if you project flat revenue, it starts to pick up in 2023.
Okay.
So we'll continue to draw down the fund balance. Of course, we're adding to it every year with the revenue, but then it will start to climb again.
And that's assuming flat revenue as well.
Flat revenue. Any other questions? Again, the payments are strictly from the amortization schedules on the debt. The only other thing we have coming out of that fund are some trustees' fees and some, a few, I'm gonna say, what are considered like just fees for some of the different debt issues.
Any additional questions? We have a motion to approve this as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. We need to approve the annual debt report separately.
And would you do that, please, so we can have it on the record that it was presented?
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion to approve the debt report. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
The opposition? Motion carries. And the announcements, we've got upcoming meetings on May the 26th. This is going to be courtroom security, sheriff's department, sexual offender registry, jail, workhouse, drug control fund, and sheriff's department and revenues. Then on May the 31st, general fund department presentations and discussions will continue. On June the 2nd, we will have school department presentations. On June the 7th, we'll have school department deliberations and open items and budgets updates. June the 9th will be total budget open items and budget updates. And on June the 13th, we'll wrap it up and vote for the proposed budget. And that's all we have. Any additional questions or concerns? If not, we are adjourned.